Football's darkest days. The 10 biggest corruption scandals in football history. Story by SportsUnlimitedNews.com. Music by Upbeat Music. Corruption. Football is the most popular sport in the world, with that comes huge quantities of money. Where there's money, corruption usually follows, and that's what we are looking at today, as we focus on the 10 biggest corruption scandals football has ever seen. Good day everyone. I am Robert from Boksburg in South Africa. This is an East Round Sports News production. At number 10. French football bribery scandal. During the early 90s, Marseille ruled supreme in French football, winning league title after league title and challenged for the European Cup, now Champions League. After losing the European Cup final in 1991 due to unavailable players, President Bernard Tapie wasn't willing to risk the same fate in the 1993 final, contacting players from Valenciennes ahead of a league clash to ensure they went easy against his beloved Marseille. The outcome: Tapie attempted to bribe 3 Valenciennes players, Jorge Baruchega, Jacques Glassman, and Christophe Robert. Only Glassman refused to accept, also reporting the bribery to authorities. Marseille were stripped of the league title that year and players involved were given prison sentences. At number 9. Manchester City, 115 charges. This could become a far bigger scandal depending on the outcome of the ongoing hearing. For now, given the ambiguity, we will keep it number 9. Manchester City have been charged with over 100 instances of the Premier League's financial rules, as well as a failure to cooperate in the investigation. The outcome: The Telegraph has reported any verdict on City's charges is unlikely before the summer, making the outcome hard to judge. There have been reports that, if found guilty, the punishments could be severe, with points deductions, stripped titles, and even forced relegation purportedly on the table. At number 8. Italian betting scandal. This is not the last Italian football controversy on this list, as the two seem naturally drawn to each other. Most recently, over 40 players in Italy were involved in illegal gambling on football, often placing bets on their own games. The most famous figure involved was Sandro Tonali, who AC Milan allowed to leave just before the investigation into his betting history commenced. The outcome: Tonali and Juventus midfielder Niccolò Fagioli were both found guilty and given 10 and 7-month bans as a result. For Sport Cow, both players are now back playing after what many view as light punishments for their actions. At number 7. Russia and Qatar World Cup bribery scandal. In a shock to almost no one, FIFA is an institution with a history of corruption, and one that is continually exposed for its failure to self-govern. An investigation by the US Department of Justice alleged Russian and Qatari officials bribed officials from FIFA to ensure they were awarded hosting rights for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. The outcome: Despite the DOJ's investigation, which accused individuals and organizations of systemic corruption, no punishments were meted out. Per the New York Times, over half of the officials involved in organizing the World Cups were involved in corruption. At number 6. 2005 German match fixing. One man managed to briefly tarnish the reputation of an entire footballing nation in 2005, after Robert Heuser, a second division referee, was found to be involved in a serious match-fixing ring. Heuser was involved in a match-fixing ring line with 3 Croatian brothers with links to organized crime, per TNT Sports. The outcome: up to €2 million were exchanged in payments to fix matches. This led to Heuser's imprisonment alongside the Croatian brothers involved. Heuser was also banned for life from any role within football. Compensation was also paid to various clubs who were on the receiving end of Heuser's corruption. At number 5. Barcelona referee payments. FC Barcelona is one of the biggest clubs in the world and formed arguably the greatest club side of all time during the late 2000s, early 2010s. They wouldn't have needed much help to lift trophy after trophy, yet they tried everything they could to ensure they stayed on top, at least according to court documents from Spain that allege Barcelona paid millions of euros to the former vice president of the refereeing committee, José María Enríquez Negreira. The outcome: Barcelona have denied the charges consistently, claiming the payments were for technical reports about referees, per ESPN. Despite UEFA acknowledging the payments did occur, no punishment was brought against the Catalonian club. At number 4. Caribbean Football Union corruption. In yet another instance of FIFA's blatant corruption, 2011 saw a number of Caribbean Football Union officials bribed in an attempt to sway their votes at the FIFA presidential election. The CONCACAF president at the time, Jack Warner, was central to these allegations, with the Telegraph reporting he was caught on tape offering gifts to Caribbean delegates. The outcome: Warner was subsequently forced to resign from his position, and Mohammed bin Hammam, who was at the center of the bribery claims to boost his chances at the FIFA presidency, was suspended from any role within FIFA. Up to 30 CFU staff members were also suspended alongside further investigations. At number 3. 2004 to 2010 Italian football scandal. The Italians were at it again during the early 2000s, with 11 clubs filing for bankruptcy amidst an ongoing culture of false accounting and attempted financial doping. Essentially, clubs would boost the financial value of players during transfers in an attempt to balance the club's budgets. The outcome: huge fines were awarded to clubs across Italy, and to individuals involved. The scandal was so widespread, it was almost common practice amongst all of Italian football, which is why we have rated it so highly in this list. At number 2. Juventus were involved in, and eventually punished, for one of the most egregious examples of corruption European football has ever seen. Whilst they were not the only team caught up in the accusations of match-fixing, they were the most prominent. It boiled down to Juve's director Luciano Moggi influencing referees to favor his club. The outcome: Juventus were stripped of 2 Serie A titles, from the 2004 to 2005 and 2005-06 seasons. They were also relegated to Serie B and given a points deduction ahead of their season in the second division. Luciano Moggi and other officials, from both Juve and other clubs, were banned, and in some cases even imprisoned. At number 1. 2015 FIFA corruption scandal. In perhaps the most widespread example of corruption within FIFA, the 2015 scandal rocked the football world, exposing just how dirty many involved in football governance are. Per the US Department of Justice, prosecutors uncovered a plot that involved bribery, fraud and money laundering in an attempt to corrupt decision-makers over media and marketing rights for FIFA competition within the Americas. The outcome: in total, 18 officials and 2 corporations were indicted for their involvement, with American Administrator Chuck Blazer and former FIFA President Sepp Blatter at the center of the scandal. Whilst the scandal rocked the footballing world, we doubt much has changed in the shady world of tournament bidding and media rights. How do we stop corruption in sports? Let us know. Please also subscribe and like. This has been an East Round Sports News production from Boksburg in Johannesburg, South Africa.